Kimberly here, and I'm excited to bring you another missions pack opportunity from Steve Finn. Now, this one is for Mining Colony, and I have to say, the Mining Colony Secret Missions is something special. Before we jump into what the Mining Colony Secret Missions offers and why I think it's essential to your game, I have to tell you just a little bit about Mining Colony as just fundamental, here's how the game works. So what players are going to do is they're going to take their deck of bid cards, and every one of the decks, there are 4 decks because this is a 1 to 4 player game, every single number is different, so there are no duplicate numbers. So when you play your card, you shuffle it all up, you draw your top 3 cards, you look at them, and you say, okay, I've got 43, 3, and 22. You're going to pick one of these numbers to place in front of you, face down, waiting for everybody else at the table to select theirs. You flip over your bid card. Whoever has the highest number gets to select first from the populated area that is public information. And this board has all the polyominoes on it because players are going to be adding these to their Mining Colony player board. So here's the individual player board. Players have this stuff developed, and they have the opportunity to move out into this open, unpopulated, undiscovered land. So when you look at these cards, let me just shoot this up here. This is the space where players are going to be taking things from. You draw a card at the beginning of the round, and it essentially tells you where to place things. So you put up here in this quadrant up here, one of the workers, the black color with a level 2 polyomino. Here you've got a worker blue with a white gem or crystal, a 3 polyomino, and a spaceship red. Over here you've got a 2 polyomino and a green gem, a purple gem, a green gem, and then a 5B. So you put these out here in the bidding area, and then you are going to take highest number, whichever one you want. Now, if you have fewer than 4 players, you just don't play with the 4. And if you have fewer than 3, you don't play with that. And so you don't have options that are not available based on the player count. So if I put all this stuff out here, you're going to start to see that all these different things have different opportunities. So I've got some really cool, spaces here, and they all have different images pictured. Those images are going to allow you to place gems out here, and out here's where your ships go and they land on those landing ships. Do I have any? Oh, I don't have any of the, this is like the life habitat for people, for workers to go live in. And then you've got your gems and you've got your workers. So there's my worker, here's another worker. I got this guy, and then I got that red spaceship. I've got some gems. I've got 2 green ones, one up here and one down there and one purple. So now that I've got everything set, I flip my card over, and my card was 43, which is pretty high. So that means I really want to go first. Now I want to cover a lot of space because any space uncovered at the end of the game on my board counts as a -1. But I also want to make sure I pick what I need because these ships and these workers are all going to help me get the special bonuses. Now I'm going to move this off the board for now because I want to tell you that what this game is it is a race. There's always one fewer of each of these types. There's always one fewer outpost of each color. So here's an outpost, and you get an outpost by placing on your board. Now these have to be developed, so I'm just going to place these guys out here on these spaces. But let's say I've got this spot right here. I have a worker in this space right here in that hab. And then I've also got a spaceship on that landing pad. If I do that on my turn, I'm going to be able to place this special 2 victory point outpost. But there's only one of these per color, fewer than the amount of players. So in a 2-player game, this is the only blue. In a 3-player game, it's one of 2. In a 4-player game, it's one of 3. So you have to race to get the outposts. You also have to race to get these gems. Now, let's say I've got this over here, and those are two different spaces that take wilds, okay? You can tell because it's got the wild pictured for that particular gem type. So if I get 2 greens on either side with that empty developed space, I can put this tower. This is going to be your science station. So the science station is actually tall, it stands upright, but you put it right there. And the same thing goes for that, where there's one fewer than the amount of players, and so it makes things really sparse. You don't have opportunities to build outposts and science stations. So what this game is it's a race. You have to bid, get the resources, place them in your area, and build the outposts and build the science stations. That's the first half of the game. Now, once all of those are gone, there's still rounds left in the game. You actually are going to play your 10 rounds. And if you get done with getting all of those, nabbing those up as the race in like round 6, you still have 4 rounds in the game left. And that's where the mining colony secret missions comes into play. So what this does is it gives players a goal that they can achieve over the course of the whole game. So what it looks like is this. Remember, your board was kind of set up with your developed area here, and you had your basic, resource space over here to keep things from turn to turn if you can't build it. Well, out here is all this undeveloped area. These goals, if you achieve one of them, you get 0 points. If you achieve all 6, you get 15 points. And they want a green gem here, a yellow gem here, a white gem here, and a purple gem there. You can have any spaceship over here and any worker over here. So color is not specified with these. And if you get any number of these, you receive this many points for the amount of objectives you've met, up to a bonus of 15. So what that means is that you have a goal to complete by the end of the game that takes you the whole game, but the first half, you're focused on just getting the race stuff, the stuff that you're all vying for, the stuff that if you get, it's 2 points and your opponent doesn't get, that's not... Every game I've ever played of this comes down to 2 points. And it seems like the person who gets more of the special wooden figures, the outposts and the science stations, wins the game. And this can change things up. Having your secret missions, by trying to accomplish all of them, you could get, if you get 6, that's a 5-point difference from getting 5 to getting 6. And that means that you are getting that many more points over your opponent when I'm telling you this game comes down to mere 1, 2, or 3 points. That's so big. And it also gives you tactics for bidding in the last several rounds. Because if you are the person who bids better than your opponents, so over here it says you look at your remaining 2 cards. You do not bid with all of your cards from your hand. If you have the most numbers, like the sum of your cards is more than everyone else at the table, you get 6 points. And the next player who has the highest sum gets 3, and the next player 1. So what it does is it tells you that you have to save your high bid points. But now at the end of the game, because you're trying to get your secret missions, you're bidding with those cards, and it then influences another way that the core game asks you to bid and to make your choices with. And I think that's so cool. I think it just makes the game, like, it just ups the tactics at the end so much more. It values the end of the game in a way that the base game doesn't necessarily do. And I am a huge fan. These cards get shuffled up at the beginning of the game. There are 5. And so you're not always going to get the same card. You're not always going to get the same images depicted. And they're not going to be in the same place. And so you get your card, right? You've got these different cards. You got one. Your opponent has another card. You don't know where their secret missions are. You don't know what items they're looking for. And so bidding for the resources When you flip over the next card, which tells you where to put what in each of the quadrants for bidding, now you've got a real juicy choice. And so for me, 100% not ever going to play Mining Colony without secret missions. Even the first game, I'm teaching someone a brand new game of Mining Colony, which this game says 40 minutes on the box, no more than 40 minutes. I think this is a 30 to 40 minute game. It goes so fast in 10 rounds. Play is simultaneous in the second half as you place all of your stuff that you got. After you bid and then take what you want from which quadrant, every player just puts it in their area and does their little thing in there, just like beep, bop, 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 bop. And then you just take a card and you bid for the next round of stuff. So it's a fast game, but I'm not playing without this. I'm just not. Even first-time players understand this kind of a secret mission. And so you keep a secret, you're trying to go for it. You can choose not to take these, but I will say that it makes the game better. And if we're lucky, as part of the stretch goals, Finn has made the backside. Let me show you this. This is the advanced play for the board. So notice how before you had all of your developed lands, you just flip this board over. Now all the developed areas are diagonal. So what he's going to do is make the advanced side of the board have secret objective goals too. So that's a stretch goal for this Kickstarter. And I think that we have to have them both. I've only played with the secret missions for this particular game, for this map, but having them for both of them, which is built into the game, would just be brilliant. So that's going to be hopefully part of the stretch goals that are met for the campaign. But I am a huge fan of these missions packs that he's making for all of his games. My most recent one was Nanga Parbat, and I really, really enjoyed that secret missions for that two-player game, which I just think is such a tight, beautiful, wonderful, tactile game for 2 players. So yay for Mining Colony and the brand new secret missions. So check it out. I've got all the links in the description below. Really, really ramps up the strategy in Mining Colony, which is a strong game for 1 to 4 players if you've got half an hour to play. A fantastic bidding and polyomino placement game. All right, everybody. I'll see you later.